I don't think there's a fight in the world I can ever truthfully say that Volkanovski is an underdog. I think Volkanovski is just, and this is absolutely unbiased, trust me. He has the experience and ability to strike when he needs to strike, take down when he needs to take down, and mix it up. That is such a dominant way to fight, approach to fighting. And you saw that when he fought numerous different fights going up through the ranks, like your Aldo's, your Mendez's, like he changed it up. It was your Holloways. You can see he has the skill set. What I find hard to really gauge with Islam is that much like Khabib, when Khabib was running through people through his reign, it's like because of the dominant performance and showing they always put on when they get in there, and like obviously they're known for their wrestling. Like he takes people down and he holds them down and he finishes them. That's what happens. You don't know how good his wrestling is until you're like, oh well, he hasn't fought this guy. Then he fights that guy and he smashes that guy, and you're like, well, he hasn't fought this guy. Like you're always kind of wondering how good is his wrestling. Like you're waiting until there's a guy he can't take down, because you can't. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I can't truly believe he can just take down everyone as easily as he has been. But he has. Mate, it's such an unsure fight. Like, because like I said, but you have to have belief in Islam's wrestling the same way Khabib was. Like you just, but then you want, like, there's always that, but what if you can't take him down? You know what I mean?
We'll see. When they call and say the name, that I'll know immediately when it's the right one. But as of lately, nothing's been coming. I've been fighting a while. I just want to be motivated and excited to wake up and grind. And I'm still in the gym. I train once a day when I'm back home, sometimes twice a day. I'm always learning and helping these younger fighters back home in Louisiana get ready for their fight. So I'm trying to grow with the sport. Things are always changing, but when I hear a name that, like, when there's somebody I want to beat up, like Michael Chandler, I wanted to beat him up. Conor, I wanted to beat him up.
Thank you, by the way.
My pleasure. When they call me with the name that I want to beat this guy, it means something to me. Then it'll be the one. Either guy can win. I think if Conor comes back with the same timing and speed that he had before the injury, if he comes back to that, he's going to stop Chandler. Chandler's very hittable, covers. Conor's a guy, when you're in front of him, it looks like he can't touch you, but he touches you. He's longer than he looks when he's in there, and he uses his length and speed and timing really well to close that distance. And Chandler's a guy who needs explosive movements to get in and out, And if Conor's timing's the same, I think he hurts Chandler. And it's going to be a 5-round fight. Conor doesn't fight co-mains or 3-round fights. So if Chandler can get in there and maybe get on his legs, get some blood in his arms early, wrestle hard for the first few rounds, maybe it goes different. But if Conor has any similarity to who he used to be before the injury and before the layoff, I think he stops Michael Chandler. He's just too hittable. I will give Michael Chandler this. He's more durable than I thought he was going to be. He is more durable.
He felt your wrath. He felt that.
Yeah, I really thought that I was going to get him out of there. When I touched him and I hit him with a few clean shots and he was still there, so we'll see.
Nobody can deny that Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. He comes in and wins this heavyweight division. It's hard to debate if he doesn't win the fight, but he wins this fight. There's no more talk. There's no more debate. It is what it is. It's like Brady when Brady left the Patriots and won, with the Buccaneers. It's just like I get it. You want to hate on Tom Brady, but you can't anymore. That's what's going to happen with Jon Jones. He beats Ciryl Gane. And when you look at this fight, especially facing Ciryl Gane, I mean, when it looked like it was going to be Francis, Jon Jones was the favorite in that fight. Then when it switches to Ciryl Gane, Jon Jones is actually the underdog. This is a much better fight for Jon Jones. If Jon Jones, when you talk about his legacy, if he can come in and beat Ciryl Gane, I said this.
I thought Miami should lead the dance, even though the biggest superstar in mixed martial arts history is back. We all knew he'd be back. Or I shouldn't say that, but most of us, certainly any of us who know what makes this man tick, knew that Conor McGREGOR was going to be back in a competitive setting. And there's really only one setting for him, and that's the UFC. And It's going to be Michael Chandler at 170 pounds, and it's going to come on the tail end of a stint on The Ultimate Fighter between these two gentlemen. Your thoughts on all of that?
I think this is the right move for a couple different reasons. I think it's the right move for the UFC. You have a guy in Conor McGREGOR who has been the biggest name, one of the biggest names in sports, let alone the UFC and mixed martial arts. And he's taken on one of the most exciting fighters in mixed martial arts in Chandler. I think it's a good fight. I think it's going to be an exciting fight. Both those guys have a shot. I'm looking forward to seeing how Conor McGREGOR comes back from this. On a technical level, I think it's a good fight for him in this first comeback after that broken leg. Chandler, of course, is going to oblige and try to stand and trade to try to entertain the fans. I would think. So I don't know. I think it's going to be an exciting fight and a huge one. And it's a good way to kind of build it up with the Ultimate Fighter. Super cool, man. What a card. What a card. And I know for you, that's got to be special. Just a short drive away. And, man, tremendous. You got Jorge Masvidal on there. He's going to be fighting in Miami. That alone is going to be huge for him. And, of course, that city, they'll be there to show up and sell out very quickly, I'm sure.
So I got a lot of text messages after this was announced. And I'm honestly, sometimes I'll get a text message from somebody who might be like number 300 on my list for potential tickets, looking for tickets, right? It's like, man, there are like 25 family members that aren't getting tickets, never mind people that are, right. On a tertiary list. It's a very exciting thing though, right? Because even though the UFC has done fight nights in Hollywood, I think you and I called Thiago Santos knocking Steve Bossy's head into next week in Hollywood, Florida, if I'm not mistaken, Seminole Hard Rock, and we mentioned Jacksonville obviously has been omnipresent on the UFC schedule, Tampa, Orlando, but not since UFC 42 Sudden Impact, April 25, 2003. There's the Wikipedia page to prove it.
I'm like very pointed here. Like DC's probably is better. Like he's obviously got the wrestling and all that stuff. But I'm a pretty good jiu-jitsu guy. So, like, I feel like if DC shoots a takedown, like, I could tie him up and slow him down a little bit. I will
stall DC up all day long.
I will tie him up.
On the ground.
I will tie him up. Like, he's not going to get too many big shots off on me. I could hide my head. Like, I could grab onto Francis's leg and, like, tuck a head. And I don't know. I'll hide it somewhere. I feel like I'd do better against Francis.
In his crotch.
I would. He ain't going to punch himself in the dick.